Right, hopefully you've been practicing your basic shapes. You've designed a really nice pot or vase or whatever it may be. You might have a handle, you might have two handles, it might have a lid. It's your pot, whichever way you want to do it is great. Make sure that when you are doing it, you're going to actually make it quite large to fill your paper, because now we're actually going to start putting some designs on the inside of our pots, or onto the sides of our pots, I should say. So, how do we turn it from a pot into a Greek pot? Well, we're going to think about the design. There are certain things that we can do. Best thing you can do really is have a look at books, have a look on the internet at examples, and you'll see that around the pots you're going to have this sort of design is a common one. There's a repeating pattern. There may be lines, there may be sort of things like that going around. Whatever. Have a look, get some ideas. So that's your pattern, and then we're going to try and also put some sort of design on. Now for this one, you're going to need to go back to the stickman video, because you need to do your basic stick figures. When we do this on the chalk and charcoal picture, you want to keep it as simple as possible. Charcoal is quite blunt, you can't put fine detail in. You'll be able to draw a much nicer picture with your pencil than you can with the charcoal, because it's so thick and bulky. So keep it really simple. Have a think about what you would like for your design. It may be a face, it may be a scene from the Olympics, it may be a scene from the Greek myths. I'm going to do something from the myths. So let's see what I'm going to do. So stick figure. Head, body, hips, legs. Make sure the legs come from the side. Again, watch the video on this, because this is not a lesson on how to draw stick figures. This is just a quick overall lesson on doing the pots. Size of your legs is pretty much the size of your body. The head's a little bit big, but it will do for now. Elbows come down to the hips. Arms come down to here. And your hands would fit there. So that's my stick figure, but I've got to get him to do something or her of interest. I'm going to have... What shall I have? I'm going to have a Spartan warrior, because why not? So this figure here is facing forwards. I'm going to get my Spartan warrior sideways on with his shield and his spear, because they used spears more than swords. So let's get him in position. I'm not going to be putting any detail on yet. I'm just going to be working out the position. That's all this is about. So I'm going to have his body tilted just slightly. So he's leaning into it, so he looks like he's in action. There's his hips. One leg that way. One leg back and braced. Then I'm going to put in a nice big shield. So the shield will be on the left arm, so I won't really see the arm as much because this fellow's sideways on. And it would be here, like that. And they used big round shields with some pretty fancy patterns on. And then on this side, I'm going to have his arm coming out here, arm coming here. Really, really simple. And a long spear. So that's my basic figure. Once I've got that in place, again, I'm just doing this with pencil now. Later on I will be doing it with charcoal. I'm going to start, imagine this is the skeleton. I'm now going to start fleshing him out. I'm going to start adding the meat to the bones, so to speak. So just go around, keeping it incredibly simple, because a lot of this, it's just going to be black charcoal, and then we're going to use a little bit of white to catch a few highlights. Now the helmet, something like that, and put a crest on it. And you would have sort of a, I think, would they be classed as kilts? I don't know what you would call it, but it'd be something like that anyway. Can you see that I'm not worrying about any detail at all on the face? There's barely any detail. I'm just putting a few basic lumps and bumps in just to fill out the shape. And then I won't see as much of the back of the design on the shield as I will on this side, because here I can see a little bit more of it. So can you see how I've tried to just curve that round a little bit? It's a bit rough and ready, but it will do for now. And then I'll think of something to put on there in a moment. Right. So I'm going to use that design and maybe fighting a monster, maybe fighting another. If it's an Athenian, it could be fighting a Spartan, something like that, for the Peloponnesian Wars, or it could be against a monster if it's something from mythology. Now I'm going to put that design onto, let's have a look at where's my pictures. There we go. This is the vase I did the other week. So I'm now going to think of how I'm going to put that pattern in. So this pattern here, I'm going to put that around there. Because that is curved, and also because it is wider at the bottom, if I was to draw that on straight, like that, it would spoil it. It looks wrong. I've got to, even though these are straight lines, they would also be following the curve going round. So I'm going to just mark them in like so. And I can't quite see this design on the back because it's just curved round, so I will go like that, and that will do that one. Bring that down, curve it round, following the curves. And this one, I'll only just see a little bit of the back of it. And then, what other design shall I do? I'll just have a single line around the base. And then I'm going to put my figure on here. So, where was my figure? Let's have a look. I'm going to put him onto there. And again, I've got to put him on, and thinking about it, he's going to be slightly curved because this is a curved object. If you want to keep it a little bit simpler, you might want to do your design on the cylindrical part because you've got less wrapping around of the shapes to do. Don't worry too much about it, but just a little bit does make a difference. So again, go back to the basic shapes. Don't try and draw this as an outline as it is. Build it up from scratch. So I'm going to say, right, I've got, there is my head. He's leaning in. There's my hips. There's my front leg. My back leg is actually going around the side of the pot. I can't quite see it. I've got my shield. There's my arm. And my spear is going to be coming around as well. And can you see it's also following that curve? Even though it's straight, because the pot's curved, I'm going to curve that just a little bit. And I might draw something else here. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill this in and make it look fleshed out, as I've said. And this is just a rough draft, so I've got something to copy when I'm doing my chalk and my charcoal. It helps if you leave a few little gaps of white, but do not worry about that. And maybe, do I want something else in there? It needs something else. I'll have a think what I can put in there. Just leave that solid black for now. Right. Yeah, I'm going to put something else in here. Also have a look at the way that the trees were designed on the Greek pots, because they look very distinctive as well. We can put some of those in maybe. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. This is my design. I want to see what you can do. Come up with some ideas. And again, like I said before, When you do this in your sketchbooks, I get you to come up with 2 or 3 designs. Do the same again. Don't just start drawing straight onto your pot, because if you don't like your design and you put it on your pot, you've ruined your pot. So practice on a piece of paper, and when you've got something you're happy with, then you stick it on the pot, and when you've done that, then we're ready to turn over to the chalk and the charcoal. Okay, we'll leave that there.